And I knew that. Oh, should I have recorded? I don't know. Alex, is it okay? Is it recording on your end?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this is the moment where my two separate lives are coming together, since some of the people who join in here today had no idea I'm doing anything spiritual at all. So imagine what a shock that would be for them. People from my work, from my previous life, where I was just a normal girl running around building businesses, and who knew I was actually into any of those interesting, strange, complicated things. I used to hide this part of me basically for my whole life. And yeah, what did it take to actually start showing it to people? I guess it took turning 40. For some reason, something like switched in my brain, and I realized, look, if I don't start doing it now, then when? And also another realization and another very strong feeling was that if, it's almost became more painful to live in a lie than it is to open up to all these people who might think I'm weird and might think I'm doing something crazy and all these things. So for all of you there who are still debating whether they should or should not open up about their spirituality, this is your sign. And if you have doubts, fears, all those things, I know, I get you. I feel you. I know how it feels. So yeah, in this 2 hours today, not less than 2 hours really. I don't want to scare you too much, but if at any point you need to jump off and do your thing, it's okay. You will have the recording afterwards. I totally understand it is lunchtime in England, but many people are joining from possibly America, I expect, because most of my clients are in the US. And that would be, I don't know, 5 a.m. or something mad. So I'm really grateful for those who joined from in such a crazy time of the day. And yeah, rest assured, you will have the recording. It will be all nice. And if you want to go back to bed or you want to do something else, it's totally okay. I will send you the recording. For now, it would be great to see what people are feeling, how people are feeling, what we want to like just show in the chat. Where, and also maybe where you dialing in from, like where are you based? Ooh, Europe, Belgium, London, Estonia, Poland, Germany. Okay, yeah, curious and hopeful. Manchester is like a country, isn't it? Oh, amazing. I'm so excited to have all these people from Europe because I always feel like I'm on some kind of deserted island here in the UK and all the spiritual people happen to be in the US. That's my usual feeling. And yeah, I know Sharon is the UK representation. Hi, Sharon. Nice to see you. Okay. So yeah, it's not going to be very long today. I just wanted to maybe just give you a bit of a taster of what femininity can feel like. Because this me stepping into my feminine is probably the reason well, I mean, it's probably very morbid to say I'm still alive today, but the reason I'm happy and fulfilled today, for sure. And femininity is not really that. Well, it's one of the most misunderstood things I find, especially in Europe, interestingly. Ooh, you want to break out, declare your spirituality, Sharon. That is amazing. How, well, yeah. That is the spiritual coming out is a big thing for a lot of us but the world is getting softer and easier and more welcoming for these kind of things compared to where it was, I don't know, 10 years ago. We're in a completely different space now. I know Thiana there was also in corporate and also was hiding her her gifts for years and years. So that's yeah, exactly. We just know how to do stuff in a masculine way, and this is what they teach us at school, and this is what they teach us in universities, and this is what they teach us everywhere. And what they and I guess it's also about valuing what the feminine has versus the masculine. That is also not quite there. It's about, it's like, would you ever be proud of spending a weekend crying over some wounds and healing them by the end of Sunday evening, and then go back to work and they say, "What did you do? What did you do on the weekend?" And you're like, "What do you say?" Like, you can't be, when you go in within and you create your heroine journey, which is not a hero journey, right? It's not like I'll run a marathon and then I kick that and I did that and I no, produce that. That would be easy to share. But sharing your own internal journey, that is tough. That is not what most people are not ready to share, because in the society overall, nobody seems to really, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. But those who have been through those revelations and, this those who were on the have been on the path of, discovering and understanding themselves and healing, those people know that is a very important and deep work. And it's work, like it's not just a lovely wellness kind of thing. Um, so those who understand, they understand, but it's, I don't know, 1%, 2% of people, and not something you would talk over a sandwich in the office about. That was my experience at least. Okay, I want to share now this little presentation I have for today. So yeah, so the feminine awakening is what is not just awakening of the women. It is an awakening of the energy. It is the awakening of the feminine kind of side of the world, side of the energetic makeup of the universe, of where we live. And the feminine is being awakened now, not just for the women of the world, but also for the men and for the energetic structures and corporates and, well, less so corporates, I guess, but yet. But it's coming out, it's coming up everywhere. So it's not just about being pretty girl and wearing a dress. And that's not at all about, being submissive or weak or anything else. And I'm sure most of you, you know this already, but I feel like it's important to say that because there's so many misconceptions, so many misconceptions about what the feminine kind of webinar even can be about. Because people think, oh, is it just about, just being a woman and, listening to what they've been told and stuff. So what all of us, we actually miss out on is that feminine is the power. It's a hidden power, but it's so, so strong. Does it work? Yeah. Can you see it? Or is my thing blocking it? So yeah, for the space today, this is a safe, feminine, receptive container. We obviously are nice and supportive to each other, and we're creating this nice, embracing space for everybody. If there are any emotions or triggers or something tough that comes up, please share. That's okay. And again, let's be nice and supportive to each other and see if, as a community, we can help each other. Yeah, cameras. I would love to see your faces. It would be lovely. Though I can't see all the many of us at the same time, but I will still try. Uh, Definitely encouraged to put things in the chat. Yeah, and just be yourself because you're surrounded by friends. Oh, about me. I'm wearing the same dress. Look, I have a few dresses, I promise, but that's the same one I'm wearing for that photo shoot. Um, so I am an energy healer and Akashic Records guide. This is what I can say today. Before that, I was this girl who's known for building a media company in the world of tech startups, and then building an accelerator for startups in women's health. Would you believe it? And all this time, as I said before, I was hiding my spiritual gifts. I was hiding my ability to see stuff. I was hiding my ability to. I was basically hiding the fact that if you lock me in a room for 2 days, I wouldn't really notice because I would just spend these 2 days meditating, healing myself, listening to self-help books, and reading something to do with channeling and spirituality. So I was successfully hiding this for over 35 years. At some point, it started to come up bits and pieces here, and people started asking me questions. And then people started kind of experiencing the fact that I can see something and that I know I have a different perspective basically on the worldly events or whatever the things, the experiences they were going through in their normal lives. So I was mentoring. I have been and I still am mentoring many women because I think about 90, no, 98, I don't know the numbers exactly, but 98% of my clientele would be women. And one of the biggest questions that we ask ourselves, or at least my clients always do, is am I on the right path? How do I step onto my path and start doing what I'm good at without trying to pretend to be interested in all those things that I'm meant to be interested in? Like to be approved, to be, you know, accepted. So I'm working on this daily with people one-on-one, my one-on-one sessions. Yes, 17 plus years of inner work, channeling, somatics, and consciousness. I don't know if there is a spiritual book I haven't read. I don't know if there is a retreat I haven't visited. I mean, I'm sure there is, but you know what I mean. It's been a lot of work and a lot of healing because I mean, this is how we all come into this job, in this kind of path of work, right? Through knowing that there is something within us that needs healing. And then we go and heal that and we explore more and more. And then we start to share it outside. Pretty much every healer I've ever seen always started by healing themselves because otherwise it just doesn't work otherwise. Yeah, so helping people to find their path and purpose and helping people to remove the things that are on the way of stepping onto the path. But I think what I wanted to share here the most is the feminine polarity switch that I had experienced. And that was a few years ago, maybe 8 or something. So I moved out of my boyfriend's house. It was quite a tough breakup and broken hearts, all this stuff. Ended up in a tiny room. Well, it was a beautiful house that he had. And I ended up in a shared room. It was actually a shared house with many other women and with all my stuff stuck in there and just kind of realizing that my whole life it had been a struggle of some description. Like I was never abundant. I hadn't been right at the time. I hadn't been abundant, successful, accepted. I always felt like I had to prove. I had to kind of dim myself down and fit in, and I just kept failing at this. And my external circumstances kind of reflected that. It was a life of struggle, essentially. I wouldn't say I wasn't happy. Of course, I was happy and joyful at times, and I'm an optimist. So every now and again, I would just be stupidly optimistic. But my company was in ruins. I had no money, like barely any money to buy food and pay for that little room in Crouch End, if you know, it's like quite far out in North London. Um, and yet, I just realized I moved into that room and there was this moment my love just felt normally, right? You feel all this pressure. And it's like, okay, now I don't even have a boyfriend to look, to buy me, a snack when I need one. Like I literally have nothing. My parents leave. million miles away, like literally thousands of miles away. And like I had no one there to look after me. And instead of stepping kind of back onto this hustle, 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 run, 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 sell, 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 there was a moment when I said, no, no, this is not the point where I will start hustling, running, achieving. There's the moment when I take a step back and try to figure out what happened. Why am I there? And what have gone wrong? And that's where I realized very clearly that I have always been on that, I had been on that path of masculine success, constant burnout, constant, feeling empty. No matter how much I achieved, I felt empty. No matter when things failed, I felt like shit. you know, when things worked out, I didn't feel great anyway, because A, it wasn't what I actually wanted to do, and B, I was doing it on the wrong energies, wrong kind of energies. They were the energies of external motivation and external success. And I was also doing it, I was trying to do things which I wasn't really good at, honestly, right? So this is what a lot of us women have to do. We kind of end up being boxed in to into some world which is actually not our world, right? Let's start with that. We're not even meant to work 9 to 5. We're cyclical beings. We're actually meant to follow our 28-day monthly cycles, regardless of whether we have menstrual cycles or not. That we're still not, wake up at 5 a.m., go, 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 because we don't have this much testosterone. It just doesn't work this way. Even physiologically, it doesn't. So it's ridiculous that the whole world thinks that's the only way to do things. But then only being driven by external success, it works for men, probably. I mean, I'm not a man, but I mean, well, let's ask them. But it doesn't work for us because what we need to do, we need to have a day-to-day enjoyment and fulfillment, day to day, not just once a year when you achieve something, but day-to-day fulfillment, day-to-day feeling of belonging and purpose. Without that, we just can't be A, happy, B, successful. We just can't be either of these two things. So that was my realization. So now there's a question over to you. You can choose your number. Which one? What are you what are you here for? Feel disconnected? Do you feel, yeah? What are those things? How do I see the chat? It's a question. Can't see the chat. Interesting. Oh, there is. 5. 2 and 5. 3 and 5. Oh, wow. 2. Is 5 the leading one? Although it's Claudia. Lena, 1 and 5. Oh, wow. Okay. So you feel disconnected from your feminine. You can't relax, soften, and receive, and that impacts your abundance and relationships because it does. You are tired of masculine push and pressure. That's what I was just describing about me, right? Just following the masculine path is actually exhausting. And this creates, actually, what it does create as well is this weird feeling of not being good enough, even though, all women have that already by default, mostly. Somehow, we'll go into that later. But trying to be a guy, essentially, and follow what guidelines there are for the male energy to unfold into great stuff makes it worse for us, for sure. It makes us feel, unproductive, like we don't deliver the results, we don't make the money, we don't like We just don't achieve all those things that guys seem to achieve doing exactly the same things. And the reason is because we're not meant to work this way. It's a crazy thing to say, I know, in the Western world, but there are other ways. So you want to feel alive, central, and grounded. And you want to reconnect with your inner truth and step onto your path. And yes, it's just for you, not to show us, but not necessarily to share with us, though you are welcome to. See if there is any intention for today, because it's good to have an intention to direct the energy, to direct the unfolding. If you could write some intention just for yourself, it will be great. So something we're going to talk about today, why the feminine energy has collapsed in the modern world. I feel like we've already talking about it. The core blocks that shut down your feminine. There's so many, but I've just split them into three major chunks. The key feminine principles that will to rise into your true power, and a little meditation to feel your feminine energy. And yeah, and then I will share information about the upcoming 7-day workshop. So when I said the world is awakening, that's what I mean. So the old world of hustle, hyper masculine survival, and like go, go, go mentality, that is not even popular, even in the places where it should be. Like even in banking, they start to introduce some form of life work balance and God knows what. They're not doing very well, but you know, there is so much. When I worked in women's health, I realized there's so much interest in understanding women's cycles on the corporate level, on the level of, work day planning and all these things. So the world is gradually awakening. And but there's still a lot of pressure and the need to prove ourselves for the feminine side of the world, which doesn't result in happiness or success, as we discussed before. And also, what the world has taught us is that women need to disconnect from their bodies. So, what do you mean you have period? Who cares? What do you mean you're feeling low on energy? Like, just go and achieve and go and perform. And there is no, basically, and you might shoot me here, but finally I'm allowed to say it. I think birth control is actually one of those methods to enslave the feminine, because you make then women perform as men, because we don't no longer have our cycles properly. We no longer have our real connection to what's going on within us. And I mean, finally I'm allowed to say this. I wasn't allowed when I was working in women's health, because it's a very controversial thing to say. But many other medication as well, like anything that alters your hormones, anything that messes with your neurons in your brain, all of those things actually make us further from our true selves, from our wise, beautiful bodies and our spirit in truth. So that is, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that definitely helped the masculine world and the patriarchal world to kind of enslave us even more. So they told us, okay, you can have the jobs, but you have to pretend to be guys and you have to completely ignore your bodies. That's the deal here. And that's the deal we had all these years. And now it's suddenly, like, I think after COVID, actually, COVID did a great thing there, from working from home and like wrapping things around childcare and all sorts of things. It's no way it is anywhere near where it can be, but it has already allowed people to, women especially, to step into their actually connect with their feelings a bit more. Like, what am I feeling today? How am I feeling here? What am I doing today? How can I structure my day so I pick up my child at 3 and then I work 7 till 10, and like even these small things made a change. And so many people, the majority of people that I speak to, had their awakening around 2020. 2020 or 2021 seem to be the most two popular years for awakening because we had finally the silence that allowed us to tune into ourselves and ask ourselves those questions. So yeah, the new era is what I envisage it to be. And it is coming, right? It's gradually coming. I'm optimistic about it. The more of an embodiment and connection to our bodies. Um, and kind of the magnetism of women, right? There's so many feminine coaches out there saying you need to attract, not chase. And this whole new culture of attract, not chase. It sounds very abstract, but it is an essence of feminine self-expression. Like how does a woman step into her power? Does she still chase and follow the guidelines and has, I don't know, 4,000 calls out of which one might work? No, she tunes within and she knows which call is the one she should take today. That's the ideal scenario. I know it sounds probably far from most of us, but if only we allowed ourselves to listen to our inner knowing, it would have made, the amount of effort we would spend on things that don't bring results would diminish. So we would spend less time, less effort, waste less energy, and achieve more. Achieve more by doing less. So the reality is shifting gradually, and the feminine era is coming, but it's not here yet. It might not be here for the next 100 years or more. And yet we're here to kind of align ourselves with those new energies of the earth, of these new energies of the planet awakening. Yeah, so I've split, I know it's a very rough split, but I have split the feminine struggles and the feminine powers into three main chunks. Um, the feminine energy lives in three major chakras of our bodies. And if the word chakra makes somebody freak out, it's just the energy centers. And it's just as real as us having fingers and toes. It's just there. It's just how we are made as as a as creatures, essentially. So the sacral is essentially where our wombs are. It's the lower belly, and um, traditionally, our sacral space is responsible for creativity, joy, pleasure. And by pleasure, I don't mean sexual pleasure. We're far from it. Most of us don't even know how to have a pleasing cup of tea. We're so far from actually feeling things physically. So this is the first thing to awaken, to get into the feminine state of being, to awaken the sacral. And again, let's not even go into all those complicated teachings about how the womb is that and whatever. Just start to feel physically. What are you wearing? Is it pleasing? What are you drinking? Is it nice? The things you use, like, are they nice to touch? Are they nice to hold? The, is it nice to hug someone? Do they feel nice? Is it, is something around, is actually, are things around you bringing you joy? Or are they just, functional things that are there purely for function? And we have been told by the society, a lot of us, by their parents really, that in order to have pleasure, we need to chase, earn, and deserve. And that is not how the feminine works. The feminine just breaks that completely. And it's like, I deserve to have pleasure every day, all the time. And being in the feminine is being in the pleasure. Sounds crazy, but even and I remember in my office people would always be like, why are you like going to make yourself this cup of tea before the Zoom call? Why are you bring yourself this little chocolate, by the way, it's here, before you have a meeting? Like, I just needed to have some pleasure. Like this was my thing. And when I started to awaken my feminine, like pleasure is important to me. And then I got this gym membership, which also had a spa, and I would go to a spa for a lunch break because it brings me pleasure, because it makes me feel myself, frankly, rather than this horse that's been running like this and carrying stuff and like it's so easy, it's so simple, and yet we actually prioritize pleasure. I want to see your faces and see your messages. Anything about pleasure that you can share, or maybe that resonated with someone. Is it mad to claim to have pleasure in everything you do all the time? And I mean, I'm not even going into sexual pleasure. Like it's I know it's such a big topic again, right? Yeah, Alice, I know. Yeah, exactly. Thiana, it's so much happening is happening on autopilot. Yeah, we are not taught to prioritize it, and yet this is like the base of our feminine. Like depriving ourselves of basic pleasures is just it just can't we can't build that whole feminine thing in it if we don't have the base. Yeah, womb detox. I mean, so those of us who are more kind of into the spiritual practices, they know about the womb and the power of the womb and how we. The womb is the place where things get created, and the womb is the place where everything kind of originates from. And taking care of that container of yours and taking care, connecting to that part of ourselves is very important. But just before we even go into that, basic pleasure is what I'm suggesting here. Basic looking after yourself, looking after pleasure. And another big thing is relaxing. So relaxation in any form, because when you're running around and you're exhausted, you cannot have any pleasure. Yeah, survival mode. Yeah, yes. Is it Cynthia? Cynthia. Yeah, survival mode. So it's yeah, we're just functioning, achieving, delivering. Like we actually don't live, right? We don't really connect to our everyday and to our, the parts of us that want to have to feel alive, really. Yeah. I think that it's great that you're now learning to choose and enjoy everything you do. This is that's the thing, right? Do relax though. So relaxing is also a big thing. So if you're not relaxed, you cannot enjoy. Like this is also doesn't work. When you are super exhausted, you haven't slept, or you have worked too much, you can't enjoy stuff. Yeah, just Alina is I get migraine if I just run around and think all the time. Yeah, actually thinking is not, I mean, again, you're gonna shoot me here, but thinking too much is not really that feminine. Like, yeah, I've said it. I've said it out loud. Thinking is what guys do, and it makes it all very complicated. And it takes them years to get to where we could get through feeling. It's just the truth. Yes, you're going to use it as a quote in your life. Well, I mean, I don't mean to diminish men, but their path is so hard. Now that I look at them, I'm like, Jesus, this is so hard. You wake up at five, whatever, something. You go to the gym, you do this, you think all day. I would die doing that, honestly. This is terrible. Well, do I sound like a spoiled brat to you? It doesn't mean I don't work, by the way. I work hard, but not hard, differently. If I sound like a spoiled brat, that's okay. You can be one too. Trust me. That's the way. Well, yes. Feel guilty when you want your partner to provide and just relax and do all you want all day, Crinella. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. And there is a way to make money on the feminine. Trust me. He doesn't need to provide everything. What he does need to provide is the safety, this container of safety and some kind of acceptance. And this is kind of it, really. And if he manages to put some food on the table, thank you. But otherwise, we can make a lot more money being in the feminine. if we choose to nourish that? How do you stop thinking? That is a big thing, Ashley. Yes, stop thinking. I mean, I don't think I've stopped thinking completely, let's be honest, but it's about exploring more the feeling aspect. So meditating, anything to do with your body, dancing, moving, breathing, connecting to nature, connecting on a different level. So spending more time in your heart than in your head, as cliche as it sounds. And there are so many ways to, there's many, many practices that we can do all daily, mindfulness practices and things like this. It's all about having more mindfulness in our days, in our day to day, in our existence and what we do and why we do it. Hugging trees for sure. Yes, love hugging trees. When I see some and it's not freezing cold. Okay, I'm sharing that thing again. You don't need to read all of these things because I'll send it over to you later. But I guess what really steals our pleasure is shame. So shame is the worst enemy for our sacral space. And how to deal with shame? I've recorded the whole inner child workshop on that. So shame is the primary blocker for the sacral. And this is why some of those influencers who, this annoying people who always tell me, oh, just be yourself and earn 100K a day, But these are the people who actually have defeated shame. This was the first thing they have defeated. So they are brilliant. They might sound annoying, they might tell absolute nonsense, but they are brilliant from the perspective of defeating shame for females. Because God forbid our mothers would say that, right? Like, God forbid our mother would go, like, my mother, I mean, some mothers are different, but God forbid my mother would ever go on stage and say, I've just earned 100K. Like, no way, no chance she would ever mention it. It's just not like, or no chance she would ever be unapologetically herself. Like, this is just not what women used to be, or they was not encouraged, very much so. So releasing shame opens the path to joy and authenticity. And yeah, we already talked about relaxations and womb healing practices. Heart space. So the second space where our feminine lives is the heart. And I don't know who hasn't spoken, who hasn't said anything about the heart and heart healing, heart opening. There's, I don't know, millions of meditations and breath works and God knows what about the heart. But the heart is one of those, again, another space within us that contains our joy, our ability to connect, our ability to love. And first of all, that starts with loving ourselves. So we're very good at loving others, most of us are, but loving ourselves and directing that warmth and that acceptance and that connection within. And again, inner child is a big deal, is a big part of that. For sure, because we carry so much pain from our relationships with our parents, from us growing up, the traumas, relationships with men, like all these broken hearts. Potentially, a lot of the trauma in the heart also is there from our ancestors. So what heals it is, like when connecting within ourselves, healing our childhood wounds, our relationship wounds, more self-love, heart opening meditation, developing empathy, but not in a sense, I feel everybody and that scares me. It's more of empathy for yourself too. What am I feeling? Like sitting within, there's a good practice to just go within your heart and feel, what am I feeling? What is is there a pain? Is there any kind of, is my heart kind of neglected? Is it sad about something? Listen to your own needs from the heart space. Which part of you feels sad right now and why? And then I think judgment is a big one because we suffer from the judgment on the outside, but that starts from within. So anytime we gossip, we discuss, we think about other people, this contributes to judgment, to increase in judgment. Oh yeah, this the Alex just sent a link to my inner child workshop, which I ran a few months ago, and I think it's actually brilliant, that workshop, and it's to quit, so it's not that bad in terms of money. It's definitely worth it. It's like 4 hours of going within and sitting with your pain, healing that. And I think this is the best way to start with your working with shame and with a closed heart too. Acts of kindness. Many women, this is very feminine, by the way, as well. This is also something that helps us to step back into our feminine. Not just acts of kindness because you have to or because you want to look good, but if you do feel called to go and help with, I don't know, little orphan dogs, I don't know, or you want to help with someone's children, or you want to spend an hour, even with your own child. I mean, let's be realistic. Even though those of us who have children, we don't often find an hour of our day to just sit with them and draw something, like paint something, make something. This kind of acts of heart to heart connection and pure kindness. This is what really clears our heart. This is what really opens it up for the world and really heals it as well. Oh, thank you, Thiana. Thiana was part of that workshop. I'm glad you're really listening to it. I think it's quite deep, right? It's quite, I don't know how it managed to it. I was channeling most of it, so it must have been okay. Third eye. Yeah. Inner child workshop. Anyone who's interested, I think it's a good place to start the healing process. Third eye, this is another part of the feminine, which again, we're not connected to. And I'm picking up on a very strong current here it's actually less so in Russia, where I'm from originally. That is not so strong, which is why every other woman you meet is spiritual somehow. It's just a thing. Everybody's spiritual. Everybody, and whenever your child gets sick in Russia, you take your child to a spiritual woman who somehow heals it. Like it's just a thing. People do these things. However, in the UK and I think Holland and Germany and all these other places, um, obviously logic prevails. You know, the whole capitalism thing made it all very, very much about achievement and money. But even despite that, I think there is also a very deep witch wound because the Inquisition was very strong in this in Europe. So a lot of us carry that in our DNA. It's not even our own previous lives. It would be the DNA that carries those wounds, that women were scared. They were absolutely terrified. Your grandmothers, great grandmothers, and however great it goes to reach somebody in Middle Ages in your ancestry. I see a lot of people here from Europe and America, the same lineages, right? The same kind of origins. Those people would have a lot of that in their ancestral trauma of being persecuted, judged, yeah, terrified. Yeah, it's from what our ancestors have experienced, and that is also good to do some kind of ancestral cleaning, clearing, and witch wound healing. So yeah, third eye also makes the blocked third eye makes us very disconnected as well. So instead of stepping into our powers and connecting to all those spiritual guides and angels and all those creatures and beings who are there to help, we choose to be on our own, kind of struggling and in the dark, essentially. It's like closing your eyes, basically. It's like if you close your eyes and try to move around with your eyes closed, you might find it challenging. And that is exactly what happens when you have your third eye closed, just on a different level. So instead of knowing things that you actually can just know by the nature of being born in a woman's body, men as well, a lot of them have strong third eyes, but especially women, right? This is your feminine power. There is no point not letting it come online. Need to open the delivery. Jesus. So yeah, generations of being scared of opening up, and I feel like this is what we all feel here. Sharon, when you were sharing, you were sharing that you are too worried to how to open up about your gifts. This is the witch wound thing as well. And again, it might not be even yours, might not even come from your previous lives. It might be from your ancestors somewhere there. So it's good to look into that, and you can just meditate and connect with it. There's many ancestral healing meditations out there, and yeah. And I think Maria, you probably know me through this is Maria. So she has ancestral healing workshop, and she has a witch wound healing workshop. So either of these two is a good place to start with that. But also fear of judgment, just in general, fear of judgment, fear of not fitting in, fear of, oh, if what if they see me as this weird thing and they're not gonna like me, or like actually being likable and being of service and being accepted is a big deal for women because we're not, this is how we survived for all these years, really. We didn't have the power to even make our own money. We didn't have the power to do anything by ourselves. So we needed to be accepted, loved, liked, and kind of, not judged. How does it all resonate? I mean, I hope this wasn't too long. I was trying to make it as concise as possible, but is it okay? Is everything still interesting? I can speak of so many things because I really struggled to put this presentation here because I just know so many things about the feminine because for the last 15 years, I have spent all my time, not all of it, but in the background, I've spent all this time looking into the feminine and the new ways of living and the new ways of unfolding. So I do happen to know a lot. It's fascinating, interesting. Okay, thank you, thank you. That's good. It's good to know. It resonates. Right. Third eye. How do you awaken your third eye? Obviously, through my Divine Feminine, the Awakening course, which starts on the 5th of December. But also just by meditating and actually embodiment practices. So your body is also your ally in this, and it's your helper. Your body knows stuff. I remember once when first moved to London, and there was this really strange meeting where a very old ex boyfriend of mine who lived in Sweden, and he walked past the cafe I was sitting in, and I saw him on the other side of the street through the window, and I had no kind of. I remember thinking how strange that was. I remember my body knew that it was him. And it wasn't even like a great love or anything, but my body knew that was him. It wasn't my mind that did. My mind didn't. It was just some guy passing on the other side. But you probably had these feelings as well, like these moments of where your body knew better than you did. It's like when you say it, I feel it in my bones or I feel it in my what. It's like it's all comes from those. Yeah, the body is really wise, Anna. It's true. It's just one of those the wisest parts of us because it's been here recycling itself for thousands of years. Yeah, meditating, um, meditating really helps. Any form of meditation that you do, connection to your spirit guides, trying to go up and connect with your higher self. And yeah, just quiet time and space to shut down the mind, back to the mind, right? So the one thing that makes it impossible for us to connect with our third eye is overactive mind, which is what we all have. So just giving yourself some time, some space to experience not thinking, to allow yourself to not think, to not do, to not achieve. The embodiment practice. Um, Good question. I just do it through meditation. I'm just going within and tuning into my body and asking it, kind of trying to feel what it feels. And it's not really, doesn't work like you ask it a question and it answers. And yet it kind of does. When you have a question or a concern or something, your body has a sensation, a feeling, something you could interpret. But to get to that level of understanding your own body, you need to be quite relaxed. So for a start, I would say any kind of yoga nidra, deep relaxation practices. And from there, you can start listening to your body. I think yoga nidra is actually a great embodiment practice in a way, because then when you let your mind like let your mind go completely, and you just focus on the relaxing of the body, relaxing of all your tissues and systems and everything. So that's a good kind of leadway into that. Yeah, the fear actually. Like, have this comment here, from Sharon, similar to when someone enters the room and puts fear into. Yeah, your body knows, right? And also, our body is very connected to our ancestors. So our ancestors could have been scared of a certain thing, and then somebody walks in. I don't know, somebody in a military uniform or whatever, and your body suddenly like, even though you have no reason to be scared of a person in a military uniform, for example, that could also come from the ancestral memory that our body has on a DNA level. And yeah, the feminine principles. God, how much stuff do I have here? Okay, let's go into meditation, shall we? Because otherwise I'll just keep going forever. It's better to feel than to learn, to listen about this, in this case, for sure. So I probably stop presenting for now, so you can see my face. And I can see your faces. And yeah, I will. Are you sitting comfortably? Kind of relaxing as we can. I know for some of us it's middle of the workday and we can't, we're not yet on a 2 week retreat, but still, let's try to do what we can. I'll burn some Palo Santo, a bit burnt. We'll do it anyway. Start by taking a few relaxed breaths. And with every breath out, you just feel how you're letting go. You're letting go of the thoughts, of the feelings, of the to-do list, of any expectations of yourself and others for the next few minutes. Start by just breathing into your body. Just like feeling into your body with every breath. Are there any tensions? Anything your body wants to tell you at this point? And if there is, you just notice it with love and compassion. No immediate need to fix or heal or improve. And feel how the energy goes up and down your spine. From the very, very base of your spine, from your root chakra. Go through your sacral, through your solar plexus, the heart space, the throat, the center of your self-expression, the third eye, and goes out of your crown chakra. It's a beautiful flow of your energy, of who you are. And I feel that from the soles of your feet, beautiful strong roots are growing into the earth. Deep, 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 all the way to the core. And you can imagine this core being emerald green. full of life force, full of love. And you accept the energy back from that very core, going through all the layers of the earth. Accept it back into your soles, into your feet. And it goes up your feet and all the way into your sacral space. And feel how that sacral, the lower abdomen area, how that space accepts that energy because it's been thirsty for it. It needed it. With every breath, actually, take a few breaths with your stomach as well. When little children, they breathe with their stomach. They don't breathe with their chest like we do. When you start breathing with your stomach, the energy actually goes into the abdomen, into the lower abdomen. So with every breath in, you feel how you're inviting more energy into your sacral space. And with every breath out, you're expanding your sacral. Just getting more energy, expanding the container. Getting more energy, expanding the container. With every breath in and out. And just notice how your sacral feels. Maybe it needs more softening. Does it feel small or large? Does it feel constrained or soft? Does it feel sad in some way? Just allow this process to happen. With every breath out, it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It just grows in size. As if you grow in this the really wide, energetic space where your hips would be, right? Just like above the hips just becomes wider and wider and wider. And as it becomes wider, it starts to make you feel very rounded and also very slow. You become like one of those dolls that you cannot knock over. And the space itself, if it was a landscape, what would it look like? Would it look like a desert? Would it look like a flourishing meadow? Whatever it is in your mind, just accept what it looks like. And then you want to add some water into that. As if a beautiful waterfall flows into your sacral space. And that terrain, that landscape that you had in there, starts to awaken to that water. See how the more greenery starts growing everywhere. Beautiful flowers open up. Maybe the birds come. Maybe butterflies come. And how your lower abdomen is now this beautiful, nourishing, living space, embracing all life. The space where things grow and flourish. And now invite even more energy of water. And it's a special water. It's very light. It carries light with it. And it cleanses away whatever needs to go. Maybe some old debris, some fallen trees, rocks, whatever needs to go, just goes. You can imagine a counterclockwise movement as that happens. And above it, this beautiful world is being created. And as it does, your sacral gets even wider, even stronger. Now you go into your heart space and feel into that. Now you have this really good base full of life. See how your heart feels. Take a few breaths through the center of your chest, if your chest could breathe. And it's okay if your heart feels sad about something. Just embrace it with all the love you can muster. Just give it unconditional acceptance and love. And feel how your heart, with every breath in, gets more light. And with every breath out, it expands. Because it contains more light and it grows. And it's a very easy process because your heart can just soften and take more and more light into its space. And maybe you can see a little boy or girl within there. Maybe you want to hug them. Your inner child. Maybe they feel a bit lonely. Just hug them. Give them this attention. Just let them know that you see them, that you know they're there. That you care. And if you have forgotten about them for a while, it's okay. Because now you're back. And now you will connect and love them and nurture them. Always. Just allow your heart to soften even more. And that little golden girl within you, just give her more love and light. Don't need to feel sad for her. She's happy that you're there. Maybe she wants something. Maybe there is a need she has. And this is the need that maybe you have been not allowing yourself. Maybe she just wants an ice cream. So make that promise to yourself that after this meditation, you'll go and do that one thing that your girl wants, little girl within your heart. Simple, just one little thing. Now you go into your third eye. It's deep, deep purple. And your third eye is connected to the wisdom of the universe and the realm of the unseen. And if you feel it's a little blocked, just feel how you can just move it out of the way, as if you had wipers on a car. Just try to cleanse it a bit, as much as you can. And feel it expand as well. Just soften and expand. And also feel the depth of it. Feel how there is the whole universe in there, in your third eye. And it goes a lot deeper than your body. Just allow this depth to emerge, to show itself to you. You might have visions of starry skies or something else. There are some messages for you from your third eye space. Your intuition. And again, make this little promise to your third eye that you're not going to disconnect from it again, that you will keep this connection, that you will keep your attention and keep that expansion, softening. And now just imagine how you're making these three chakras that we worked with. Imagine it's like a snowman. The low one is the biggest, the widest. It makes you heavy and grounded, but in a most beautiful way. Then your heart is middle size, medium, like the medium size between the three of them. And it's also soft and wide and loving and full of light. And then your third eye. It's also wide, but not as wide as the other two. So it's a good snowman practice, just as Christmas is coming. And open your crown chakra as well. Like this space at the very top of your head. Allow it to pulsate, letting more light in. And feel how the light, the white light, is coming into your crown space. It goes into your third eye, and then down all the way into your heart, and then into your sacral. Softening, widening, light, giving those chakras more light, filling them up with light, dissolving whatever was painful or imperfect or in some way outdated in there. And in your heart space, that emerald light from the earth that you had come up your feet before connects with that white light from the top of your head. And creates your spiritual center, the center of your being, where your soul connects with the earth, with the element of earth within you, making you a powerful being that you are. Just feel how grounded and powerful you actually feel, with your heart being so connected and with your sacral being so wide. It's so wide it could contain the whole town that you're in. It could contain anything. There's no need to limit that. with your feminine power. It creates this beautiful feeling of being slow, but in a good way. Slow but intentional. And just notice how from this particular state that you're in right now, how you would actually go around about your day, how you would do things. How you would write your emails, how you would have your morning drink, how you would eat your lunch, how you would speak to your children or husbands or work colleagues. Just take a little note. Whatever comes is good for you. Now gradually just start coming back into your body, feeling into your hands and feet. And come back to me. How are you feeling? You don't from this very slowed down space, you don't need to rush to answer anything, but just like maybe give me a sign. Yeah, safe and softened, cleansed. What is Zung? I don't know. Heart opened more. Yeah, so wonderful and powerful. Yeah, Crinell, you might just need a nap and rest if you feel like that's what you need, because maybe your feminine has been exhausted and tired. Oh, you cried, Joanne. Or was it at the heart that you cried? Or you just cried because your body needed your attention so much? Claudia, tired. Yeah, I mean it's a slowing down practice, but in a good way. Right, you saw yourself at 4. Yeah, I mean, I recommend the child healing for you, just to see what you're dealing with there at the age of 4. At least you fell asleep some between stage. Heard my voice and no words. Well, maybe that's the thing, right? So your feminine needed your attention so much, and it was kind of so thirsty for all those energies that your brain just didn't want to process it. But you can just redo it at some point later. Maybe it will feel different. Ashley, filled with air and also tired. Well, the grounded thing, right? The grounding thing is about expanding and containing more. But in order to expand and contain, we need to have resource, which means we should actually look after our state and not be exhausted, not be tired. But that's okay. That's a good place to go and actually have a rest if you can do it. Sharon from feeling scrunched up at the start felt soft and open and saw a beautiful lotus lily at the end. Wow. Oh, thank you, Claudia. My voice is healing. I literally do it every day. It's my job to do meditations with people. And I love to do more meditations actually, more group ones. Speaking of which, I have something to share with you. So yeah, so this is the feminine essence, right? The state of a snowman is essentially a feminine essence. When we have activated third eye, the heart connected to the energy of the planet, but also the sacral really wide to hold all of this. And this is where if you do that kind of meditation, this kind of alignment, the feminine alignment, if you do it every day, I actually did it every day at some point in my life when I was transitioning into the feminine, you will actually you will just notice massive difference in your days. And it will all feel, well, less scary, because when you're so grounded with the sacral, you're actually less scared of anything. Because I don't know if that you feel the same way. You kind of just like, you're holding it all together, but not through this force, but through your actual power. Our actual power is more in the womb space than it is in where the men, in the solar plexus, which is what the men usually do, right? When we hold the world on our shoulders, which means actually in our solar plexus, this is where we get exhausted and tired and and unfulfilled. But when we go deeper, we go down into the sacral and we allow that to expand and hold everything. It changes everything for us. Actually, you might need more sleep. Yeah. Another thing to practice, speaking of embodiment, I will have a lot more embodiment practices on my during my proper Divine Feminine workshop. But one of the good ones to try is also breathing with your stomach. Just do a few breaths with your stomach. I mean, what they say in all those, one of those feminine courses I took many years ago, they said that you should just breathe with your stomach all the time. And at the time, to me, it seemed like, what? It's impossible. And it also doesn't look sexy when you kind of have the stomach coming out. But I've learned that. And actually, this is what I do now. And I notice when I switch to the chest breath, because it's so shallow and so it doesn't work this way. And when I just breathe, now that I've switched it to breathing with my stomach, it's very different. And weirdly, it has actually helped me to reduce the stomach fat, not increase it. Just that's just a side note. I'm not encouraging people to do this for this reason, but because our stomach fat is also our protection when we're not feeling into our perks everywhere at the end. Yes. When we're not feeling happy in our feminine, this is where we start to gain weight. Okay, can you actually see my slide here? So because I work with people all the time and they tell me what they need to resolve, these are the top concerns that I get. So feeling stuck, unseen, and disconnected from their true self, which is where your third eye is blocked and the heart. Fears, shame, emotional blocks, which we might not even know that they're fear, that they are these things. We just think that they're blocking something in our lives that we can't explain. Struggling to express their power, creativity, and feminine essence. This is about stepping onto our path as well. This is about opening up to the world about who we are. And feeling isolated. This is also the number of people who told me that they wanted to have, would love to have more spiritual friends that they would be able to talk about all those crazy things with. It's just amazing. It's just incredible. And because I meet these people every day and I'm like, why don't you speak to each other somehow? Wouldn't it make sense? Yeah, and spiritual connection, guidance, and inner wisdom. That's we all long for that. And feeling stuck in terms of abundance as well. So if you see this as my divine feminine, the awakening course, which is my solution to all those things in a sense. Because first of all, I have been researching and learning these things for so long. Actually, a 7-day course is nowhere near enough to squeeze all the knowledge I have on that, but I will try my best. And I definitely want to combine the physical practices, the practices with breath, with light movement, no fitness, because I'm not very good at it, but light movement, like some other like some feminine release, uh, emotional release exercises, these kind of things, with a lot of spiritual activation. So I want to combine both, the top and the bottom, because this is what the feminine is. The feminine is the embodiment of the light and the soul that we are in the container of the energy of the planet, of our bodies. Yeah, Alex has sent the link to the workshop, but stay with me for another few minutes. I'll tell you, and I have a special discount today as well. So yeah, and there will be some personal readings as well. So because the group won't be huge, I will be able to talk through some questions and do some little readings here and there. And most important, it's going to be a whole group in Telegram so people can connect to each other as well and support each other. I think, was it Cynthia? No, was it somebody who said that we need to have more of this kind of Crinella? I think she said that she thinks women should be supporting each other this way. a lot more, to have this kind of spaces, the feminine spaces of support and nurture, cross-pollinating with ideas as well, but also the just acceptance and safety and love. So yeah, and it will have 2 in-depth workshops, 3 hours each, with all sorts of activations and all the materials are yours forever. It's kind of like a spiritual retreat, but without quitting your job and flying away. And you can do it alongside other things. So it's the feminine spectrum exploration and the remembrance, because who we are, and not just as women who work who have a job for whatever salary. We're not that. We all have these archetypes of the creatress, the priestess, the healer, and the goddess. We have them all to some degree. And my path through this workshop will be through the numerology. So from the long workshop on day one, where we go from zero, from the point zero, the great void, the womb of the divine feminine, where we just step into the something that doesn't exist yet, right? It's this great void, which women are mostly scared of, because this is the unknown. And this actually is the chakra that is below our root chakra, the earth star. So we'll explore that, and we'll dive into this, and we'll go through healing, layers of healing of the wounded feminine, layers of healing of the guilt and shame and all these other things, and the fears. Feminine holds so many fears and so much pain. We're holding this pain in our bodies as well as the energy bodies. So yeah, so we go into that and transform the hidden and the dark and the shadow into the light. Day one. Yeah, I wish the jobs for women were like that: priestess, healer, witch, guide. No, Crinell, but that is exactly my point. That is exactly the whole point of this workshop, that we can step into our creator's archetype and we can do something different. We don't have to stick with those jobs forever. Sometime, yes, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point of transitioning. So, and the second workshop is about rising into light, and it's awakening and actually we get towards the creator's archetype. That we go through the number 2, which is the relationships and the connections, and how we forget ourselves in relationships and getting our power back. And then we go into number 8, number 8, which is the number 5, which first of all, number 5 through the Venus and the archetype of the beauty and creation, and then into number 8, which is the divine feminine embodied, which is the ultimate creatress. That is, so we have somebody just joining, which is the ultimate creatress who is already in her power, who is already on the path. Don't know if it's a bit muddled, but what I want, I guess, if we go through divine numerology, from number 0 is the something that exists but doesn't exist yet. This is number 0 is where, you know, the Fool card in tarot, where, you know, have this guy standing on a cliff, stepping into nothingness, and the universe will catch him. And it's a very powerful card because it's number 0. It's numerology of everything is possible. And women of the past, those priestesses and those spiritual women of the past, they could work with that energy of the divine womb, energy of the void, the potential before it becomes realized potential. And that is the kind of power that the feminine is capable of. And when we talk about feminine manifestation, this is also part of that. We don't just manifest from what we can see. We can manifest from what doesn't exist. So it's very deep. But we need to go through our shadows to be able to actually work with the void, because it's quite a hidden part of ourselves as well. So we go through feminine archetypes, the shadow archetypes as well, and then bring it into the light. And through number two, which is the connection, the compassion, the love, to number five, which is the divine beauty and the essence of, the joyful creation. We go into the eight, which is the embodiment of divine feminine in a human form. That's how I see it. Not a big deal, just embodiment of the divine essence in a human form. Why not? But that's kind of how I see that path throughout this 7 days. And I say it's definitely 7 days. It's not just it's two workshops, which you can watch in recording if you cannot join live. But it's going to be practices and discussions and meditations and yeah, various other things throughout the 7 days as well. And yeah, what you'll experience deep healing as well for sure, because we can't get there without the healing. And hopefully the sacred sisterhood, because that's another thing that I would like to, see more in the world. I miss that myself as well. I miss that feeling of sisterhood, and I feel like we all need it. And the sacred sisterhood is now gone, because of what happened with the world, and because of how the feminine was shut down, and because of how women had to compete, and like there's many reasons why it doesn't exist at the moment. But it's up to us, the very conscious awakened people, to restore that, to get that reborn into the fabric of the world. Yeah, and the feminine path, just for you to get inspired. Learn to live in alignment with your natural rhythm. Trusting actually emotions. Emotions are not bad. We've been told that emotions are bad and we need to hide them, but actually emotions are our keys to our power as well. The intuition, the love, not pressure, and leadership, leading from softness, power, and truth. Because when you are in your truth, people follow you. It's a funny thing. They don't follow you when you just speak from the power, like, I'm above you, so you should listen. But when you step in the truth as a woman, you are invincible. People follow you, people give you money, people bring you things, people do what you tell them. But it's not because you tell them to do something from the ego, but because there's truth on your side and you align with that truth. And yeah, the money that I keep saying that the money is there for you when you do allow yourself to be what Crinella was saying, priestess, healer, and witch and guide, right? When you allow those archetypes to come actually into your everyday. And I'm not saying that absolutely everybody should have a spiritual career, even though many more people should, like many more people will in the next 10, 20 years. So, yes, when we do incorporate those deep feminine archetypes within our everyday, this will make a huge change to our money flow as well. Do you think the money is the energy that flows to you? It's a good question. I don't know if it flows to me or flows through me. I'd rather feel like I'm just part of this energy, and it's yeah. And I guess I said that I will share within the next 2 hours. I will share the reasons for my unreasonable success, and it's true. It's unreasonable because no man could explain it. And I have this I know very powerful entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, who's shifted into the feminine polarity. And the way they run their business is very intuitive and soft, but very powerful. And I remember this joke with them. They said, when Harvard Business Review is going to analyze my company, they would have no idea how this happened. Because sometimes you can't explain it by the male kind of metrics. The men just don't get it. And I guess I'm trying to be really nice to men. I love men and I really admire them, but they're living in a different world. And not for a second, I would want to live in that energy because it's really hard. It's just hard for me, not hard for them, but they have very different ways of succeeding. And they are the only people who wrote books about it. They are the only people that created business schools about those ways to succeed. We are yet to create our books and our business schools. And I mean, by we, I mean so many awakened women who actually realized how to incorporate intuition, heart, and pleasure into your business, essentially. Yeah, Sharon, truth is when you're in the right, like when you are aligned with the truth, right? With the truth of who you are, with the truth of the outside and the inside. And that's when you become much more powerful. It's yeah, what else is here? Um, I mean, I don't think we need this. You know who you are, you know what you need, you know that calls your name, that this type of exploration. And it's definitely not tactics and strategy and intellectual stuff. It's more embodiment and breathing and exploring and maybe a bit of crying, a bit of hugging, but going through that into the light that we can bring and our true calling and true path. Oh yeah, this is you have the code for today. Alex, could we have the link again, just in case? Because I created the code activate 20, then I realized 20% is a lot, it's a huge discount, but what can you do? It's the price is still weird because Eventbrite adds its own fees on top, so sorry about that. I would keep it into some nicer number, but and this is the price for the whole 7 days, and all the materials stay with you forever. You don't need to, there's no limit for how much you can use them. You have the meditations, you have the practice, and you have the community, most importantly. You will have that group on Telegram, which I will open on the 1st of December, even though the course starts on the 7th. So the retreat, I think it's probably a good way to rebrand it into online retreat. Starts on the 5th of December and goes for 7 days until the 12th, when it finishes with this another long workshop. But the Telegram group, stays with you forever. And the friends, hopefully, that you make will be there. And maybe we can do maybe we'll start redoing the sisterhood. And my dream is to someday convert it all into a real world meetings and real world retreats as well, not just the online stuff. Because there's something very powerful happens when women get together in the physical space, meet each other with all this love and understanding. Yeah, the code will only work for the next 24 hours. I've also added a little another option of the ticket, which also involves a 30-minute session with me, which is like the quick energy reading, the quick identification where the blocks are, what needs to be done, recommendations for what practices you can do, this kind of thing. What else is there? Well, you've probably seen my website and seen the reviews there. May you return to the abundance, power, and truth you were born with. Because we were born with that. It's just we lost it along the way. We don't need to search for it. We just need to return to it. And if the retreat is not something you're into, maybe you want to one-on-one sessions. And many of you already are my clients and already been to my sessions. And if you go to that website, Alex, can you send the website for the sessions as well, please? Yeah. You see those reviews there. So much you can read there, but you get the idea. I work very softly with people. I don't force anything. I don't fix anyone. I basically just open the space for a person to experience things themselves and to find out what could have been blocking them. Could have been an ancestral pattern, past life thing, or something else. So there's many things that could block us. And speaking of feminine and masculine, when I talk to my husband at the end of my working day about my day, he basically now he's just like, don't tell me. He's like, okay, how was your day? I was like, it's okay. I just had two activations and a deep ancestral cleanse and a curse removal and then some kind of black magic work. And he looks at me like, okay, I just, did some things in the bank. Okay. It's like basically this is what I mean by the feminine masculine. Masculine just contains me, right, in the way I am, not limiting me, but like supporting, containing, maybe being slightly shocked by my day, but he's not judging. So I'm grateful for that. So this is my day-to-day work, these things. And this is something I'm planning to launch next year, probably in January or February, because of how many people are actually stepping onto their path as healers. Yeah. I love what was it Crinella? There, yeah. Priestess, healer, witch, or guide. So if you're one of those, you might want light activation coaching. It will be a group, but will be a very limited, like small group, and we will work together on empowering each other's spiritual abilities, kind of empowering each other's, social media abilities, stepping out of the shadow abilities, all these kind of things. When we finally realize I'm a witch and I'm no longer ashamed, I want to go there and do my thing and heal people and do stuff. So that's my Sharon. Yes, it will be. I will be, I don't know if I'm going to launch it in January or February, one of those, but I will be sending things about it because I feel like there's so many people in my community. And the other day I was talking to someone who was in marketing and she asked me to describe what is your favorite kind of client. And that's what I exactly described. I said, the person who wants to make a change in the world, not just someone who, I mean, I work with a lot of clients who don't have this fire to go and change the world. And I'm super happy and I love them to death. But my absolute favorite clients are those who say, I want to make a change. I feel this in me and I just need some guidance to help me along that path because it's scary. And I've been through it, which is why I'm now helping other people to do that as well. So yeah, that's the coaching thing. Oh yeah, and this I think Alex, can you send it again? This one as well, just inner child. This one is a no-brainer, I think, because it's so deep and it's so inexpensive that I think probably everybody in the world should kind of do this kind of work. Not necessarily with me, but I feel like I really like the depth of it. I really feel like is it Bluebird? Yeah, the inner child thing. Okay. Any questions? I will stop sharing so I can see people. I want to see you more. Yes. Awesome. I'm back. Sorry, we went a bit over time, but I hope it's okay. Thank you, Yana. Any questions? Anything? Yeah, Lena, thank you for webinar and meditation. Bye, Lena. Nice to see you. Lena is one of those people who didn't know I was doing this work, so I'm really I'm really excited to see you here. About financial struggles, we need both, but we need them balanced, and we need to be more in the feminine. Thank you, Sharon. It was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Claudia. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Carolina. Oh, I feel like some people from my time in the startups joined, so this means a lot to me. Oh, Ashley, I can't wait to share it with my daughters. Oh, brilliant. Yes, I feel like we need to teach our daughters this from early age. Oh, thank you, Joanne. Everything you share resonated deeply with me. I hope to see you on guys on my other workshops and my sessions and everything else. because I just love working with awakened people. Okay. Excited for the course. Oh yes. Thank you, Sharon. See you at the course. Lots of love. It was lovely to see everybody. Thank you.